Hey everybody, it's Tim Benjamin, Group President of Marmon Crane Services. The last couple town hall filmings have been fun, and the production team and I have tried really hard to make it watchable and interesting and as humorous as possible. Today's going to be a little bit different. Today the topic is a much weightier, deeper issue, and I just want to be serious for a while about safety. I'll set this up with why it's important, and then you're going to hear from your peers and the people that you work with on why it's important to them. I came to RailServe in 2001, and safety was safety, right? It was just another program. It was like quality or whatever, and it was different though. RailServe looked at it seriously, and I understood why when I saw the size of the equipment. You guys can relate to that, right? Locomotive or crane, they're big pieces of iron, and you don't win an argument with them. So I got to understand what true safety management meant. And it was great, and the company did its best. But where it really hit home for me was the first time an employee had to go to a hospital. It was one of my objectives that I got to that hospital bed as soon as I possibly could, not only to make sure that the employee was doing okay, but to make sure the family was doing okay. And because of that, I saw some things I don't ever want to see again. People missing body parts, people with wires sticking out of them, people that are unconscious because of the number of surgeries that they've had there. And when you get that image in your mind, you don't ever want to see it again. I mean, these are real people that went to work thinking it's just another day, but it wasn't. Not a single person went to work saying, you know what, I'm going to take a shortcut today and it's going to be fine. Not a single person thought that they're going to just do something a little bit dangerous and get away with it. Every single one of them thought they were doing what they should do day in and day out. And it's the little things that make a difference. As leaders, it's up to us. We have to maintain world-class standards and make sure everybody is held to the same level of accountability. We have to look at the little things, because if little things aren't controlled, they become big things. And that's when you see somebody in a hospital, and we don't want that. And what I want to do today is let those people who are tasked with looking out to make sure we are best in class and world class in safety tell you why it's important. Let them tell you why those little things make a difference. And let them tell you why they care. I care. I know you care. I know your loved ones care. And I want you to hear from them in their own words why it's important.
We were working on a construction job. I was a rigger at the time, and we were setting up to do a 30-ton lift. And that particular day, we couldn't actually set the crane up where we'd done our risk studies, and our management, asked us to move the crane to another position. By doing that, it actually put us a metre outside our radius for that particular lift. And we begrudgingly, we went ahead with the lift. And during the lift, we started to lose the lift. The crane started to, move uncontrollably. So we basically ran in all directions to get out of the way of the possible collapsing boom of the crane with the 30-ton lift on it. We realised that, as the professional riggers on the job, and we had a plan and everyone agreed to the plan, and it was in the parameters of the crane itself, to be pushed by management to change that plan and essentially work outside the parameters was a mistake on our behalf. Because on that particular day, if that crane had collapsed and we lost the load, others in the vicinity could have been seriously injured.
There was an incident with an unarticulated crane in Franna. It was carrying a generator on a multiplex site, and the crane tipped and ended up killing a gentleman. And there was a whole lot of charges, so work health and safety charges under the Act. One of them went under the Manslaughter Act, so the operator, the oiler or the rigger, he got charged under the Work Health and Safety Act. What we do is pretty basic, yeah. We pick things up and we put things down. But when it goes wrong, it's pretty serious.
So I experienced a worker get injured on the job, whereby this particular crane operator was performing what we call, as a term, hot change. So they were swapping out operators. This individual did not maintain 3-point contact and was inching his way along the catwalk on this all-terrain crane. and the individual fell off the crane approximately 9 feet, landing onto the ground. This individual also ended up in hospital and had to undergo 2 emergency surgeries to repair some major fractures to their fibula and tibia, and also a metal plate attached. So that was pretty dramatic. It literally took him seconds to fall off that crane. That's how quickly these things can happen, and they can change your life forever.
We had a guy that was on top of a derrick, a drilling rig, and was laid down, not up in the air, but we were tearing it down with a couple cranes, and he had a harness on, wasn't tied off, stepped on the way they call it the crazy wheel, and just went down on the ground, fell about 15, 18 feet. His head missed a rock. Couldn't have been 6 inches from his head. It was pretty devastating. I mean, he kind of laughed it off, but he knew that it was pretty serious. You know, iron and equipment doesn't care who it hurts.
One of our guys was just being over proactive. It's the way he is. He grabbed the first tool that he saw to align the steel. The tool was incorrect for the task. It was too short, and he ended up getting his finger caught between a piece of metal and the tool with a pinch point that just pretty much crushed his finger. For us, it's always the little things that catch us out. Always. The big things, mate, we're fantastic at. But just those little things, and that's where the dotted line is for me, for sure. But every single time there's been an incident, it's the little things that have contributed majorly to that incident. And no matter how experienced you are, things happen. You know, out of the blue, they happen when we're at least not expecting it, you know. So
little things are really important. And what happens, you'll find out probably 80, 90% of incidents are caused by the 1%, so the little things, so the cutting corners, the taking shortcuts. And complacency is probably the biggest killer in any workplace. And it's just them little dots. It's just doing the little things right.
To me, the little things are really important. We work in a high-risk environment. So our people that are putting themselves, at risk daily need to understand that, you know, managing those smaller things helps us look at the bigger picture.
Something that may look or appear to be so simple, but in fact, the details can be complicated and likely to cause problems. So my wish is that employees would just take that 5. Taking 5 is so important to think through that task, to refer to those procedures, refrain from taking those shortcuts, and also being complacent. And it's easy to get into autopilot, and that's where we tend to become more complacent, because we want to make sure our employees go home each and every day the way they came to work.
Over the years, the reminder is just slow down, and if we don't know, we stop the job, right? And it's a very easy thing to do, but people tend to not do it just because they're afraid of the repercussions, number one, or they're in a hurry to get home, or they've done it wrong 100 times. So no one comes to work going, you know, I think I'm going to lose a limb today and be fine with it. We're all here to do a task, right? And if you have passion in that, then you're going to try to make people safe, and those people are going to see your passion, and then that's the trickle.
I care that people are able to go home on a daily basis to their families fully intact and happy in the place where they are in their working life and in their general life.
My real job is sitting in front of people's families and their parents and their children and their loved ones, and explaining why they're not coming home, why their dad or their mum or their brother or their son's in hospital. It's like you got this big family, and you know, one of them gets hurt, you just feel very responsible for it. You feel like it's my fault if I didn't get someone home. Sort of why the job's so frustrating, and it's why the job's so rewarding. If you can stop people getting injured, it's very rewarding when you see people's attitudes change or their focus change, or you see them mentoring someone else on something you spoke about before, and they get the picture. I think that's invaluable. That sort of makes the job worthwhile.
I want to thank everybody who took the time to go on camera today. It's a scary thing sometimes, and I appreciate your ability to be authentic and real and share from your heart, right? Because that's what we want you to know. Why do you care? Why should we all care? And when we thank you for taking the time to do that. As we look forward to next quarter, There's another element that we care about, and that's we care how you feel about working here. And there's no better way to figure that out than with our annual employee survey. I know some of you guys, you get all fired up about it, and somebody right now is ready for a 1,000-word response. I know it, that's great. And other people are like, do I really have to? Technically, no, you don't have to, but I care. I care to know what you have to say, good, bad, or indifferent. I want to know. I care, and I can't care about fixing it unless you provide that input. So when you do see that email come through, please take the time to do that. Thank you very much.